I like what Mac Anderson says. He said a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You're not going to go anywhere till you change it. Earl also said your attitude towards others will determine their attitude towards you. Now, I learned that from my brother-in-law. How many of you know somebody who just everything they do turns to gold? They've just got the magic touch. I got a brother-in-law like that. You want to hate him, but he's such a nice guy. We used to call him Lucky all through school. But I found out a few years ago, my nephew, his oldest son, played football for Sanford University here. They were playing in eastern Kentucky. And my brother-in-law Lee and his dad left early that Saturday morning to watch Brandon play that Saturday night. About 10:30, we got a call. They had a serious automobile accident right south of Chattanooga, Tennessee. By the time we got there with my sister, Lee was still in ER. He had blood from head to toe, big neck collar on. He was in and out of consciousness. When he was conscious, he was cracking jokes. There was a doctor and 2 ER nurses that stopped on the scene before his truck stopped rolling. The doctor said, here Lee is. He's laying in a puddle of blood. I'm knelt down beside of him on the pavement telling him, Lee, life force is on its way. We're going to air vac you to Erlanger. You couldn't be in better hands. Trust me, I'm a doctor. He said, Lee looks up at him and says, well, what kind of doctor are you? He said, well, I'm a dentist. Lee looked up and said, well, I don't think there's anything wrong with my teeth. Doc said he was being positive about everything. But it was the next morning when we went into ICU that I realized who he was, why he is the man he is. Because you see, he's been an extremely successful businessman, great husband, phenomenal father. But when we went in, you got to realize his knees and ankles are crushed, 20-something screws in each leg. Got hoses running in and out of him, one punctured lung. But he looks over at my sister and he says, Dad didn't make it, did he? She said, no, baby didn't. But the doctor said he never knew what hit him. He died on impact. What Lee said next allowed me to see and to learn from that point forward how to be successful. Because he looked at her and he said, well, you know, if I had to pick a day for my dad to go, it would be a day like we had yesterday. We had one of the greatest mornings we'd ever experienced. We laughed all the way up. He said if I had to pick a way for him to go, it would be just as he did. After a long, successful life, being zapped out of here instantly in glory with no pain and no agony. And I thought to myself, how could someone find that much meaning in such a tragedy? Well, I had him captive for several weeks in ICU, and we talked about it just about every day. And finally, Lee says, well, Don, you have to retrain your brain. You have to rewire how you think. And I found out that's not real hard to do, but it takes discipline to do that. And I found out you can do that. One of the ways to do that is ask yourself 2 questions of everything that happens to you every day. Number 1 is you got to ask yourself, what's great about that? And you got to force yourself to answer that question, because we all, as a human, tend to look at the negative more than we do the positive. So you got to identify that. Force yourself to identify. It may not be great for you, but it's great for somebody. Figure out who it's great for. When you do, that's going to initiate the positive thinking process. Second question you got to ask is, how can I make it better? Again, like the first, you got to force yourself to find that answer. When you do, it's going to initiate the positive thinking, or the creative thinking process, which is going to reinforce the positive thinking process. And you got to do that until it becomes habit. Now, cybernetics says it takes 21 days to form a habit. Weight Watchers says it takes 38 days. Gallup came out last year and said it takes 62 days. Whatever it is, you got to do it. And one morning you're going to wake up and you're not having to force yourself and discipline yourself to ask those questions. That's how you think. You're looking for the good in everything and everyone. That's the power of that. Their attitude towards others is going to determine their attitude towards you.